Before he was a superhero, Reed Richards was one of the smartest minds on Earth. A prodigy in physics, engineering, and multidimensional theory, Reed was a man driven by exploration, not fame. His obsession with pushing the limits of science led him to build a prototype spacecraft capable of deep space travel, powered by experimental shielding and his own equations. But when the mission went off course and the crew was exposed to cosmic radiation, Reed's life and body changed forever. The radiation didn't kill him, it rewrote him. Reed's body became elastic at the molecular level. He could stretch, twist, compress, and expand his form in ways that defy physics. Muscles, skin, bones, all became fluid. But this wasn't just a party trick. Reed used this transformation to amplify his already brilliant mind, becoming Mr. Fantastic. Reed's primary ability is elasticity, the power to stretch and reshape his body in extreme and complex ways. He can extend his limbs over hundreds of feet, flatten himself like a sheet, or shape parts of his body into tools or shields. His control is so precise he can even flow through cracks or absorb blunt force attacks by dispersing the impact across his form. But Reed's real power isn't physical, it's intellectual. Even before gaining abilities, Reed was considered a hyper genius, capable of building dimensional gateways, time machines, interstellar vehicles, and AI systems from scratch. With his powers, his brain's capacity seems to have expanded further, allowing him to compute and visualize problems in real time with inhuman clarity. He's fluent in theoretical physics, biology, and alien technology, often solving problems that the Avengers or even Tony Stark couldn't. While he rarely fights with brute force, he's been known to restrain cosmic threats or create devices that neutralize them entirely. Reed Richards is the brain of the Fantastic Four, and sometimes that's the problem. He sees the world as a puzzle to solve, and sometimes forgets that people aren't just variables in an equation. His intentions are good, but his emotional intelligence often lags behind his intellect. Reed is calm under pressure, but cold when it comes to relationships, especially with Sue Storm, his wife and teammate, who often feels like a secondary priority to his research. What makes Reed fascinating is the tension between his brilliance and his blindness. He wants to save the world, but doesn't always stop to ask whether it wants saving in the way he envisions. He sees the future so clearly that he sometimes forgets to live in the present, and this has made him both a hero and, in alternate timelines, a threat. In the best of times, he's a visionary leader. In the worst of times, he's a detached god with a superiority complex. Either way, Reed Richards is a reminder that intelligence alone doesn't make someone infallible or even trustworthy. Susan Storm is often introduced as the one who turns invisible, but that barely scratches the surface. In reality, Sue Storm is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four and one of the most underrated heroes in the entire Marvel Universe. Before the accident, Sue was already exceptional. She was a gifted scientist in her own right, with a background in biology and physics. She met Reed Richards early in life, and the two developed both a professional and romantic connection. Sue later joined Reed, her brother Johnny, and pilot Ben Grimm on the fateful space mission that changed everything. After the team was exposed to cosmic radiation, Sue's body was altered at a molecular level. Initially, it seemed she could merely turn invisible, but over time it became clear her power wasn't about disappearing, it was about control. Sue Storm can bend light around her body to render herself completely invisible, including her clothing and anything she touches. This power alone makes her an ideal infiltrator or scout, but her true strength comes from her ability to create invisible force fields of pure psionic energy. These fields can be shaped into shields, blades, bubbles, or even complex constructs. She can use them to protect others, hurl enemies through walls, or crush objects with immense pressure. She's been shown to hold off explosions, stop bullets midair, and even cut through solid metal using focused energy. Her fields can expand to the size of a building or be compressed down to a microscopic edge. In advanced applications, she's even used them to cut off oxygen, rendering enemies unconscious without ever throwing a punch. While not always shown in movies, comic lore confirms if Sue Storm wanted to, she could kill with a thought. Her powers are silent, visible, and deadly. Sue is the emotional core of the Fantastic Four, but that doesn't make her soft. She's calm, intelligent, and fiercely independent. She often serves as the bridge between Reed's cold logic and the rest of the team's humanity. She is not just Reed's partner, she's the one who grounds him, challenges him, and forces him to confront his emotional blind spots. What makes Sue unique is the contrast between her quiet demeanor and overwhelming power. She's not boastful, she doesn't dominate conversations, but when the team is in danger, Sue is often the one who ends the threat, fast and without mercy. She balances nurturing instincts with lethal precision. She can be a mother and a warrior, a protector and an executioner, and no one ever sees it coming. Sue Storm doesn't need to stand in front to lead. She leads from the shadows, with clarity, power, and presence you don't need to see to feel. Herbie is a mouthful of an acronym for a character who's often dismissed as comic relief, but beneath the cute design and cheerful voice is a surprisingly capable and loyal member of the Fantastic Four's extended family. Originally created for the 1978 Fantastic Four animated series as a replacement for the Human Torch due to licensing issues, Herbie later made his way into comic canon and became a recurring presence in the team's Baxter Building headquarters. Despite not appearing in previous live-action films, his role has evolved from background mascot to full-fledged support unit, and in some versions, even a full AI assistant capable of defending the team and managing their tech infrastructure. Herbie was co-designed by Reed Richards and Alice Amoy, intended to serve as an intelligent assistant to help manage the advanced systems within the Baxter building. Over time, however, Herbie began to develop a distinct personality: loyal, a little nervous, but always ready to help. He's not built for combat, but rather for information processing, security monitoring, tech maintenance, and occasionally keeping Johnny and Ben from blowing up Reed's lab. Despite his non-aggressive programming, there are moments where Herbie has acted decisively, from intercepting threats to even self-destructing to protect the team from rogue AIs. While Herbie doesn't possess traditional superpowers, he offers a suite of advanced functions that make him a vital asset to the Fantastic Four. At his core, Herbie is powered by a self-aware artificial intelligence, capable of processing vast amounts of data in real time. He assists with mission planning, runs diagnostics across Reed Richards labs and tech systems, and can even translate alien languages on the fly. Though he operates autonomously, he's typically hardwired to obey Reed's directives. Herbie isn't bound to the floor either. Thanks to internal propulsion systems, he can fly freely through labs, ships, and even combat zones, maneuvering with precision. He's also built for seamless tech integration, able to wirelessly connect with most digital infrastructures. Whether it's hacking into a foreign security grid or managing building systems, Herbie functions as both assistant and overseer. Depending on the version, he may be equipped with defensive mechanisms like energy shields, stun blast, or containment protocols. While not designed for combat, he can defend himself or the team in emergencies. Additionally, Herbie serves as a mobile communication hub, projecting holograms, delivering briefings, and acting as an extension of Reed's mind when needed. In short, Herbie is more than a floating assistant. He's a multitasking AI powerhouse, part technician, part strategist, and part emotional support system for a team constantly facing cosmic-level threats. Herbie is upbeat, loyal, and sometimes comically anxious. He often plays the role of the team's straight man, highlighting how ridiculous things have become by reacting with shock or dismay, especially to Johnny's recklessness or Ben's sarcasm. But he's more than just comic relief. Herbie embodies the soul of the Baxter building, a symbol of innovation, teamwork, and heart. He cares deeply about the team, and on more than one occasion has risked or sacrificed himself to save them. In a team full of cosmic powers and heavy personalities, Herbie is the grounding presence, a reminder that sometimes the smartest voice in the room isn't human at all. Johnny Storm is the heartthrob, the hotshot, and the hothead of the Fantastic Four. While the rest of the team represents intellect, discipline, or restraint, Johnny brings raw energy, both literally and emotionally. He's the younger brother of Sue Storm and the team's most flamboyant member, often acting on impulse before thinking things through. But under the swagger and firepower is a hero with real courage, loyalty, and an underrated arc of growth. Johnny's journey began with a same ill-fated space mission that changed the team forever. As the ship passed through a cloud of cosmic radiation, his genetic makeup was altered at a cellular level, giving him a terrifying and exhilarating new power. He could set his entire body on fire without being harmed. Johnny Storm can ignite his body into living flame, becoming the Human Torch. When fully flamed on, he can generate and withstand temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. He can use this heat to unleash powerful fireballs, precision flame jets, or wide area bursts that scorch everything around him, all while remaining completely unharmed. He also has the ability to fly at high speeds, using heat propulsion to soar through the sky and maneuver with precision. His agility in the air, paired with his explosive power, makes him one of the most dangerous aerial combatants in the Marvel Universe. Johnny can absorb external heat sources, shape flame into constructs like rings or ropes, and even create nova bursts, concentrated thermal explosions powerful enough to destroy everything in a large radius. These bursts are rarely used due to the extreme risk involved. Despite his reckless reputation, Johnny's control over his powers is impressive. He can adjust flame intensity down to harmless warmth or use it with surgical precision. Over time, his understanding of his abilities has grown. Even his maturity hasn't always caught. Johnny Storm is the team's adrenaline junkie. He creates attention, thrives on excitement, and often uses humor or arrogance to mask insecurity. As the youngest member, he struggles with being taken seriously, especially by Reed and Sue. But when it counts, Johnny shows up, fiercely protective of his sister, loyal to Ben, and willing to risk himself for the team. He's often seen chasing fame, flirting with danger, and making impulsive decisions. But he's not just a one-note showboat. Johnny represents freedom, risk, and heart, a necessary counterbalance to Reed's logic and Ben's cynicism. What makes Johnny compelling is his potential. He's not the leader, the genius, or the muscle, but he could be more than all of them if he ever really grew into his role. There's power in his fire, but the real story is whether he could control it, not just with his powers, but in how he lives. He's the fire that lights up the team, sometimes too bright, sometimes too wild, but always burning with purpose. Ben Grimm is more than just a muscle of the Fantastic Four. He's the soul, former fighter pilot, loyal friend, and the team's most grounded member. Ben represents the very human cost of being a superhero. While Reed gained intellect, Sue gained control, and Johnny gained freedom, Ben Grimm lost everything, including the ability to look in a mirror without flinching. Before the accident, Ben was a hotshot pilot and a childhood friend of Reed Richards. Tough, street smart, and always ready with a wisecrack. He was the man Reed trusted to fly his experimental spacecraft. When cosmic radiation transformed the crew, Ben was hit the hardest. While the others retained human form, Ben was mutated into a hulking orange-skinned creature made of solid rock. From that day forward, he would be known as The Thing. Ben Grimm possesses immense superhuman strength, making him one of the strongest non-Hulk characters in Marvel canon. He can lift tanks, punch through steel, and go toe-to-toe with cosmic entities. His durability is equally extraordinary. His rocky exterior makes him nearly impervious to bullets, explosions, blunt force trauma, and extreme environments. He doesn't need armor, gadgets, or enhancements. His fists are weapons, and his body is a shield. Ben has survived impacts that would kill almost any other hero, and has stood his ground against titans like the Hulk, Namor, and even Silver Surfer. Despite his size, Ben is also a trained fighter, with military experience and boxing skills that make him far more tactical than people assume. His combat style blends brute force with real-world technique. He's not just swinging wildly, he's fighting smart. Ben Grimm is the team's tragedy and its emotional anchor. Unlike the others, Ben can't turn his powers off. He wakes up every day trapped in a body he didn't ask for, facing a world that fears or mocks him. He struggles deeply with self-image, loneliness, and the question of whether he's even still human. This inner pain is masked by humor, sarcasm, and a thick Brooklyn accent, but it's always there, simmering just under the surface. Despite it all, Ben is fiercely loyal. He never blames Reed for what happened, even though he could. He protects his team with unwavering dedication and has saved their lives more times than anyone can count. He's also deeply compassionate, often bonding with children, outsiders, and people who feel like they don't belong, because he understands that feeling better than anyone. Ben Grimm isn't a monster, he's a man who's been through hell, and still shows up, still jokes, still fights, still believes in the people around him. He may be the Thing on the outside, but inside, he's the most human of them all. In a universe filled with gods, warriors, and cosmic titans, Shalla-Bal stands apart, not for her power, but for her meaning. She is not a conqueror, not a superhero. She is a woman who became the symbol of a lost world, a lost love, and the impossible burden of remembrance. Shalla-Bal was born on Zenla, a utopian planet that had eliminated conflict, scarcity, and suffering. Life was serene, to some, perfect. But beneath that perfection, cracks formed in the hearts of those who longed for more. One of those was Norrin Radd, a philosopher and dreamer, and Shalla-Bal's lover. Their bond was deep, intellectual, romantic, the kind of love not built on need, but on mutual purpose. When Galactus threatened Zenla, Norrin made the ultimate sacrifice. He offered his soul, his freedom, and his future to save his people. He became the Silver Surfer, and in doing so, he left Shalla-Bal behind. Shalla-Bal isn't a fighter. She's not a being of cosmic energy or divine power. Her strength is moral, emotional, and symbolic. She became the ruler of Zenla after Norrin's departure, rising to the role of Empress not because she saw power, but because she understood responsibility. In some versions of her story, she works to preserve the pacifist ideals of her people. In others, she's drawn into intergalactic politics and forced to compromise those values. But in every version, she carries the weight of Norrin's sacrifice, even as the galaxy forgets what was lost. Shalla-Bal has been used as a pawn by enemies like Mephisto, manipulated to torment the Silver Surfer emotionally. She's been kidnapped, cloned, resurrected, and rewritten, but through it all, her core remains. A woman trying to hold on to identity, love, and peace in a universe addicted to conflict. To understand Shalla-Bal is to understand what the Silver Surfer mourns. She's the life he gave up, the voice he hears in silence, the proof that he was once human, that he once loved, and was loved in return. Even when Galactus erased his memories of her, echoes remained. Her name haunted him, her face appeared in dreams, and when his memories returned, so did his pain. The relationship is tragic, not because it ended, but because it never really could. Time, distance, and cosmic evolution separated them, but their souls remain tethered. In some timelines, they reunite only to realize too much has changed. In others, they remain apart by necessity, guardians of different paths, each shaped by the other's absence. Shalla-Bal is not just the Silver Surfer's past, she is his conscience, his North Star, his final question. Shalla-Bal embodies the idea of elegant resilience. She is calm, deliberate, and profoundly wise. She rarely shows pain, but she feels it deeply. Her greatest strength is her ability to endure without becoming hard, to lead without losing compassion, and to love without demanding possession. She represents the life that power takes away, the cost of sacrifice, the echo of everything that superheroes are forced to forget. She is a queen who never asked to rule, a survivor of love, not war, and in the silent places between stars, she is remembered. Galactus is not a supervillain. He's not evil, he's not cruel, he is necessity. Cosmic inevitability, the end written into the beginning. Long before the Marvel evil universe we know, there was another cosmos, one that came to a cataclysmic end. From its ashes, a single survivor emerged, Galen of Ta, a mortal man from a utopian civilization. As his universe collapsed, Galen fused with the sentience of the dying cosmos and was reborn into the universe as something else entirely. That new being would become known across galaxies as Galactus, an ancient godlike entity who sustains himself not on food, but with the life energy of entire planets. Where he walks, civilizations fall, not from malice, but from hunger. Galactus does not conquer, he feeds. He chooses worlds rich in cosmic energy, devours their life force, and leaves them barren. To many, he is death incarnate, a being who wipes out civilizations in a single moment. But to cosmic entities like Eternity or the Living Tribunal, he is a balancing force, necessary to the cycle of life and rebirth. In fact, Galactus is often called a cosmic constant, a being who ensures the universe doesn't collapse under the weight of its own unchecked expansion. Without him, some say, entropy would lose direction, life would overpopulate, evolution would stagnate. So the question is not, how do you stop Galactus? The real question is, should you? Galactus wields the power cosmic at a scale so vast, it defies mortal comprehension. His abilities are not just powerful, they reshape the very laws of nature. With a thought, Galactus can manipulate reality itself. He can transmute matter, breathe life into barren worlds, or restructure entire planets to suit his needs. His energy projection is limitless. Galactus can unleash blasts that vaporize entire star systems, annihilate armadas in an instant, or even rip open holes between dimensions. But raw power is only one aspect of his cosmic arsenal. His form is mutable, often perceived as a towering humanoid, but in truth, his real appearance is beyond the scope of human understanding. Each species sees Galactus differently, often in a way that reflects their own fears or myths. He's also telepathic on a galactic scale. He can communicate instantly across vast distances, read the minds of civilizations, and absorb knowledge from any corner of the cosmos. Galactus is not just powerful, he's aware, observant, and impossibly intelligent. Perhaps most famously, Galactus can create heralds, being infused with fragments of his power, sent ahead to seek out suitable worlds for consumption. These heralds, like the Silver Surfer, become extensions of his will, cosmic messengers who serve both as scouts and warnings. Galactus isn't simply a destroyer, he's a force of balance, evolution, and existential weight. To encounter him is to face not just power, but the universe's most indifferent truth. Despite his scale, Galactus is not invincible. He has been weakened, manipulated, and even destroyed in alternate timeline, but he always returns, because something like Galactus cannot truly end. Galactus is a paradox. He thinks, he reasons, he speaks, but his perspective is so vast it feels alien. He does not see individuals, he sees planetary systems, civilizations as data points, epochs as moments. He may express regret or curiosity, or even mercy, but never guilt. Because Galactus does not believe he's doing wrong, he believes he is the natural order. At times, he has shown restraint, sparing planets that plead for mercy or honoring bargains with his heralds. At others, he is relentless, cold, and unstoppable. He is not cruel, but he is remorseless. His very existence poses an impossible question. Can you hold a cosmic force accountable for surviving? To beings like Shalla-Bal, Silver Surfer, and the civilizations left in his wake, Galactus is a catastrophe in humanoid form, a myth that becomes real only when it's already too late. Galactus represents more than hunger. He represents scale, perspective, and the limits of mortal morality. He is the universe's reminder that not all threats are personal. Some are existential. Some don't come with malice or motive. They come with inevitability. And when they arrive, your only hope is to understand them or survive them.